Follow Saycon Sengbloh on Instagram. Follow Vintage Pop Soul on Instagram. And follow SayconTalks on Instagram. You're listening to SayconTalks with Saycon Sengbloh. This is just a quick little episode. I just wanted to come in and just vibe. You guys, I feel so good. I feel so blessed. Even in the midst of this quarantine, I'm sipping on my coffee. I do still have my wonderful Ethiopian coffee. I'm not sponsored by them at all. Anything I talk about is not because I'm sponsored. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But if you're interested in sponsoring me, please hit me up at info@SayconSengbloh.com. But I am drinking my cafe to mocha. And it's just, it's good vibes, you guys. I was looking at a few screen grabs that I had. I recorded a lot from the Jill Scott, ERYKAH Badu VERZUZ competition, I guess, or battle. It is what it was supposed to be. And it was just such wonderful vibes. Did any of you guys watch it? Did any of you guys go on to Instagram and watch the ERYKAH Badu versus Jill Scott vibes? I'm calling it vibes versus battle. It was wonderful. Anybody who watched it, I do believe that you might have felt like you were blessed that night. I definitely felt like I was. It was a Sunday night. I was in my kitchen. I was making, I bought some sea moss. One of my good friends, he has a lady that he orders his sea moss from. Their company is called Felicity's Sea Moss. Check them out on Instagram. If you do check them out on Instagram, let them know that you heard about them from me, from Saycon, from Saycon's Talk. But I got this 32-ounce jar of Felicity Sea Moss, and I've been scooping that bad boy into everything. And so I was enjoying that concert, and I stepped away and had that wonderful Felicity Sea Moss. I think I did, what did I do? I think I did the sea moss. Oh, I did it with the tamarind nectar, and it was wonderful, you guys. Check out, I don't know, try that recipe. Tamarind nectar, sea moss, and ice, a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. Set it off. It's wonderful. Yeah, here we go. Hey, check one, check two. Check one, check one, check two. Incense burns, smoke unfurls, analog girl in a digital world. Hey, hey, I think I need a cup of tea. That's my ode to the great ERYKAH Badu. You know, I sang a little Jill Scott earlier, so I had to give Miss Badu her just due. Man, you guys. So my feeling as the competition of the versus battle was that initially it started off a little slow. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who felt that way. But you know, that's how art is. You know, a vibe, you know, you have to warm up, you have to check the vibes, the vibration, the energy, you know, how electric things are. And so, yeah, that's just a part of it. You know, they had to settle in. I think there was a little technical difficulty with ERYKAH. Initially, they were waiting to get her all. And I was afraid, y'all. Look, I was scared. I was like, oh, my God, is ERYKAH going to be the technical difficulty person of this particular competition? You know, I was afraid because of how it came across with Teddy Riley before. But once she settled in, let me tell y'all, let me just describe this visual. First of all, we were waiting for a while. And while we were waiting, Jill had some wonderful clips, audio of poetry by Nikki Giovanni playing, which was wonderful. If you guys haven't listened to it, I have an episode of SayconTalks in the first season called Sheroes and Heroes, in which it's a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and Janetta B. Cole. I attended this conversation live at the Apollo. And hey, why not? We were all live. We were there. People were recording and taking pictures and social media and all that. So I recorded the conversation and I put it on my podcast. But so it took me back to that memory of sitting on stage. I mean, I think this was last year, just sitting in the audience and watching Nikki Giovanni on stage, just pontificating. So the vibes were there. I was all in the live chat, putting like sprinkling sparkles and light and sunlight. Everybody was in the live chat, you guys. This was a moment for the culture, okay? When they say for the culture, like it really was a moment. You could see the live chat going up and down the screen. And what you could see was various people, from your everyday person to the various celebs, just popping in and making commentary. Of course, Charlemagne the God was saying stuff. Everybody was just in there, talking, showing their excitement, really excited to see what was going to happen. And it was taking a little while, but we were just listening to these wonderful words of Nikki Giovanni. And then at one point, Jill Scott, she put a picture. There was a picture, one of those popular pictures that I would see sold in the hood that's got all the soul singers on it. She put it in the middle of the screen in front of her phone, I guess. And it was, you could see it was a picture of her and Jill on that particular picture. She put it there and she was stepping away. And just as she was settling the picture and stepping away, ERYKAH came on. Now on her side of the screen, she had a backdrop that had a visual of, it was a visual of Bruce Lee doing like kicks and karate chops and like doing his thing, doing his martial arts thing. God rest his soul. So it was this image of Bruce Lee behind her. I guess she was like, hey, I'm here. I'm about to get it going. She was ready for the battle. And so they just started off talking, queen to queen. Hey, queen, how you doing? How's your kids? How's homeschooling? Jill talked about how homeschooling had been kicking her butt. They talked about the feelings of just being here. And, they were expressing the same things that everybody's been expressing during quarantine, which is just how to cope, how to deal. And Jill took her hat off to teachers and educators out there. And so I had a lot of respect for that. I really enjoyed how they were just warming up the room, I cannot remember who went first, who played the first track, but I was surprised. I think it might have been ERYKAH, but the first track, it went on for a long time. And in the previous competition that we had seen with Babyface and with Teddy Riley, they would give you like a little, they would give you a bar and a hook, and then they stop it and then they start talking a little smack or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which included Babyface being like, oh, okay, I didn't know you wrote that. Or Babyface being like, oh, okay. But that's a remix, right? Oh my goodness. Babyface was cracking me up with his little quips. So when these ladies were doing they were playing, they started off kind of playing the whole thing. But I guess, maybe, they had different people in their camp that were letting you know that, they needed to let it flow a little bit more. And so they started to let it flow. And boy, when it started to flow, it started to flow. And you could see everybody in the comments just in their feelings, like, ooh, oh, flame, 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 lit, 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 star, 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 coffee, coffee, coffee. People were putting all kinds of emojis and different things. And I never thought that I would be like a radio announcer, describing it like a fight back in the 1930s. I'll just describe it this way. Here, Erykah Badu hits it with a jab. She plays her hit from her single that was popular on the album Mama's Gun. And then here comes Jill with an uppercut. She plays a song from her third released album. Like, they were just back and forth, right? And the vibes were so good. And in between, they were smiling and laughing. And it was just a praise fest. And we were able to see that they have a friendship. They were like, girl, remember that tour we were on? Remember that time we had to, I'm always like, remember that time? Remember that time? Look, y'all, there's this old player from the Himalayas that lives inside of me. And he's always like, remember that time. They were remembering these tours that they did, and they were shouting out other artists. And one of my favorite moments was when they were playing. Do I have my phone? Let me take a look. I can pull this up. They were playing a song, and let me see. I'm gonna pull this up. Oh, it's not gonna play. Okay, here it is. Yes, I promise, but I enjoyed it. I love it so. I'm gonna skip 'cause I'm lonely whenever you're around. Okay, so Jill Scott's song was playing. It's called I'm Lonely Whenever You're Around. If you've never heard this song, you know, I know I have a lot of musical theater people that follow the podcast, people in Liberia, people from, you know, people in Germany. If you have not heard this American R&B song, it's called I'm Lonely Whenever You're Around. It's by Jill Scott. So this song is playing during the live, and ERYKAH, she just shoots her arms into the air. You could tell the vibe was hitting her. And then she just said, let that play, Jill. Let that play. Just let that keep playing. Let it play. Let it play. And I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it, because it was a vibe, y'all. It was a vibe, okay? And then ERYKAH is toasting Jill. Jill is toasting ERYKAH. And Bruce Lee is karate chopping in the back. Hey, sweet and true, cold as ice around you. Hey, I'm sorry that the sound is not that good, but so then she said, let that play. George Duke. Let that play. I don't want to play it too much because I don't want to get any kind of copyright strikes on my channel. I'm a little fledgling channel. But when that George Duke started to play, let me tell y'all, I'm reading in the comments. The comments are coming up and you see people say, oh, the solo. Fire, fire, fire. Hey, you just see a lot of people. And then Felicia the Goat says, R.I.P. George Duke the God. Y'all about to make me sit somebody down for 9 months. I just saw that one. Dion Cole said that one. Let me tell you, it was a vibe. And I believe that there were like maybe 400,000 or 500,000 people watching this live, streaming at the same time. It was a vibe.
You're listening to SayconTalks with Sengbloh.
So yeah, y'all, I'm just reminiscing. Let me take a little sip of my coffee. I don't know how many more of these coffee podcasts I'm going to be doing. You know, I'm super sensitive to caffeine. So I have to be careful, y'all. I get caffeine and I get to trembling and I want to jump off a roof. I'm gonna do this one. I'm not going to talk too long on this, but I just wanted to vibe, you guys. Oh, it was such good vibes. Anybody who's been watching the VERZUZ competition, first of all, they did one, of course. Now, there were, I think, one or two before, but the first one that I watched was the Teddy Riley versus Babyface one. And I'm not going to front. That one had, they had a lot of false starts. I'm sure a lot of you, if you didn't see it, because I know there are a lot of people, thank God, there are a lot of people, essential workers and people who are still out and about working and don't have time to be sitting around on nobody's Instagram, watching Instagram lives and, chillaxing. I totally get it. A lot of people didn't see it. A lot of people simply saw memes and heard other people talking about it. I know. But I'm one of those people, honey, baby. My movie that I just shot called Respect, the Aretha Franklin film. We wrapped it in February. So, hey, quarantine or not, my last job had ended. And so, yeah, I had the time. Today I got time, cuz y'all ever seen that meme? I've been enjoying the world of social media with this downtime. Normally it would have been pilot season. I would have been probably auditioning all over the place, possibly shooting some new television show. Oh, there were some wonderful shows that I auditioned for. But hey, you guys, as the cards were laid out for me, so I am here watching my favorite R&B soul heroes battle it out for, the supreme crown of who's the best, who does the best music. There's some people who said that Babyface's music was the wedding, the romance, and that Teddy Riley was the after party, baby, the honeymoon, okay? The boom, boom, bang, bang, get it cracking, right? That's what they say. I enjoyed both of them, and I really enjoyed the competition. If you go on to my Instagram page at Sengbloh, you'll see a little clip that I recorded. Being in the industry, being in the entertainment industry, I mean, there are so many people that I know that have worked with Teddy Riley or toured with Babyface. And so I was so excited I was watching, but then I was like hitting I was jumping over to other apps and trying to text my friends and say, hey, did you see that? Did you see that? I'm pretty sure anybody who was listening was in that same type of vibe, moving around, bouncing around, texting their friends, excited, oh my God, going through so many memories. And so yeah, that was the vibe for sure. They're men, so they were definitely throwing jabs at each other. Okay. Once the second competition happened, because the first time there were lots of technical difficulties, and that's what people heard about initially, the technical difficulties. I even have a really good friend, Christine. Hello, Christine Horn. She's not into any type of negativity, so to speak, and so a lot of the memes that were ragging on Teddy Riley for his sound not being right, and for him having a whole bunch of homeboys and sound engineers and studios and all that stuff going in the midst of what's supposed to be social distancing. People made a lot of jokes and a lot of memes about it. So if you saw that, you may not have really understood the point and the vibe, which was to enjoy really good music and to go back down memory lane. Okay. So that's what the vibe was. I enjoyed it so much. I had a wonderful time. I don't remember the last time I thought about music and vibed on music in the way that I did while watching either of those VERZUZ competitions. Okay. I mean, the Teddy Riley Babyface version, it just took me down so much memory lane. A young man that I used to go out with in high school was in a group called The Boys. And so I got really excited when Babyface played a song that he produced by them called Down My Heart. Who remembers Down My Heart? Y'all remember Down My Heart? Down my heart, I just down my heart. I was just so excited. I was like, those are my people. Those are my friends, my people. I haven't seen Kyrie, Taj, or Bilal in a long time, or Hakeem. I don't know if Kyrie would even remember me. I dated Taj, and Taj also years later produced my first record called Southern Pinup. And so, yeah, it would just touch my heart, My friend Sasha Allen, she toured with Babyface. Sometimes Babyface and Tony Braxton, they go out on the road, and then sometimes Babyface goes by himself and he takes a singer, and Sasha Allen's a wonderful singer. It was just D Woods. Hey, hello, D Woods. She toured with Teddy Riley literally like a few months ago. I believe she was touring with him. And so it was just a wonderful vibe. You guys, you hear these songs, depending on what generation you grew up in, you hear the songs and you start thinking about, as I like to say, remember that time. You whether it's like a player from the Himalayas, like, remember that time, baby girl, remember that time. You guys, I gotta make myself laugh. I gotta crack myself up. I'm actually I'm doing my hair right now because I'm about to do this interview as soon as I hop off of here. But remembering those times is what the vibe is for the verses. I don't know who they're gonna have next. Whoever they have next, I'll probably talk about it here on Saycon Talks. But you guys, I just gotta talk about Jill Scott and ERYKAH Badu. I got to.
Follow Saycon Sengbloh on Twitter.
It was a vibe, y'all. And I think what's important to remember is that because we are all unified watching this from our homes. I actually just, if you didn't listen to the previous podcast before this one, it was about OnlyFans. And what does OnlyFans have to do with Versus? I'm comparing these things because of the fact that people are connecting through their phones. People are connecting through apps, through social media. And we were all connected. It was like watching your two best friends, because I can tell you all these good songs, they were taking me back to a time where I wouldn't say it wasn't my first car. My first car, my dad got me. God rest his soul. My dad, Fasul Sengbloh, he got me my first car, which was a little 86 Toyota Corolla. It was a little old car, but that car was sturdy, okay? But at this time, when these songs were coming out, I had my own first car that I bought myself. I was paying my little car note. It was a Beetle. It was the new, they came up with those new Beetles. It was shiny. It was silver. I had a little TWA, a little teeny weeny afro. I was putting my little red color box in my hair. It was like a dark and lovely kit. It had Mary J. Blige on the cover. It was called Red Hot Mary. Ladies, please comment on this podcast if you remember that Red Hot Mary hair color. But I was having my first apartment, having my first, first time I ever had sex. All this stuff was happening when these albums were coming out. You guys, I was a late bloomer. I'm going to do a podcast on that. I was a late bloomer, you guys. I was focused on theater. I was afraid. I was afraid, y'all. But I was having so many memories. And so afterwards, I got on Marco Polo. I don't know if you guys use that app, but one of my good friends, I just let it play. She was in her feelings. She was talking about all her memories and throwbacks to people she dated and different things. And it was just wonderful. It was a vibe. You guys, it was a vibe. At one point, they mentioned wanting to do that tour together again. The tour was put together initially by Queen Latifah, because she said, oh yeah, ERYKAH Badu, she said Queen Latifah had this, what do you call it? A sponsorship with, she said tampons and maxi pads and lotion and whatever. She had this huge sponsorship. And when Latifah was out to get that sponsorship going, don't you love how sisterhood works and how media works and business works? And Latifah said, let's do it. And so they went on that tour. And so they talked about it, and they talked about how they had to alternate. Sometimes, a different sister would open each night. And so I was in my head like, they were like, oh, it's hard to open because people still taking their gum out their purse and sitting down. And, I'm like, I'm raising my hand like, sis, do y'all need an opening act? I will go to every city with y'all and I can open and let them take their gum out their purse while I open, and then y'all get the good settled audience. But to be on the road with those queens, to experience that funk, that jazz, that melody, that groove, oh my God, it would be so wonderful. On Facebook later on, I saw my friend Shakira, who was on the Fela Broadway show. She was also on the national tour of Fela, and she also helped me, brought me in to be a singer with Lauryn Hill when we went to Ghana, West Africa. Shakira made a post and she talked about how she did her best and she shined on stage the night that Jill Scott came to see Fela, and she ended up Jill ended up hiring her, and she ended up choreographing and staging her next tour. And she just staged a new one that's been postponed, but you never know how you will be connected with people. And so this concert, I'm calling it a concert, this Instagram live really united us all. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to be a part of it, just to sit and witness and, be in my kitchen making my smoothie, with my Felicity CMOS. You know, I was just pleased to be able to have that moment and have that bit of peace and that wonderful memory. I hope that you guys get wonderful memories and wonderful peace when you listen to Saycon Talks podcast. I hope that you share it with your friends. That's the best way that I can grow, is by you sharing this podcast. Share the podcast and encourage your friends to press play and listen. And you guys look out for the next VERZUZ competition, the next VERZUZ battle that's happening. I believe Swiss Beats and Chamberlain are producing it. And I'm going to look out for it. And I'm sure it's going to be a good one. And it'll take us all down memory lane. I'm Saycon, and you're listening to Saycon Talks. Have a good evening.
Hey, what's up, Saycon Talks listeners? Don't forget to search Saycon or search Saycon Sengbloh to hear my music. Download it, play it, stream it, enjoy it. Please support. Thanks again for listening. You're listening to Saycon Talks with Saycon Sengbloh.
Honeywax.